the modern day Maharaja 2017 was the most moment of the entire year. And yeah, the modern day Maharaja Jinder Mahal, yeah, the fact that I'm even discussing this is surprising. But yeah, we're at this point now where Jinder Mahal is going to get a retrospective of 2017 for his time in WWE. And this is the guy they never saw it coming. A lot of people didn't see it coming. And so many questions were left wondering why. So yeah, after the end of 2016, which left Mahal back in the same position he was before he had left WWE a few years back, Mahal was in a rivalry with Rusev, Enzo, and Cass, mostly to go after Cass and Enzo because Enzo went ahead and got insulted by him multiple times, stressing the fact that you're making Jinder Mahal look identifiable and reasonably sound to attack Enzo in such a brutal manner is actually justifiable, is concerning to Enzo's character. So, heading into the new year of 2017, Mahal and Rusev defeated Amore's tag team partner Big KS in a 2-on-1 handicap match. Then the following week, there was another match between Mahal and Big Cass after Shawn Michaels performed a sweet chin music on Rusev at ringside, which distracted Mahal and ultimately led him to lose. And then they would feud for a couple more weeks, ending in a tag team match, and ultimately Big Enzo and Big Cass get the victory, leading to everyone realize that in Vince's world, if you're a guy and not an NXT person, I will ruin you, especially if you go ahead and have a personal life outside the company. I've ranted enough about this whole why on earth is Enzo the good guy and Rusev's the villain because of how the storyline went. I've ranted enough on that. So, yeah. Okay, so Jinder Mahal did not participate in the Royal Rumble. He'll most likely be able to in 2018 due to what happened throughout 2017, but moving on from that. On February 27th episode of Raw, Mahal and Rusev began showing signs of dissension after Rusev inadvertently distracted Mahal, causing the two to lose to the New Day. And then it finally ended on March 5th at Fastlane when Mahal informed Raw General Manager Mick Foley about his desire to return to singles competition, prompting Mick Foley to put the duo in 2 separate single matches, with both Mahal and Rusev losing their matches against Cesaro and Big Show. Even though at the beginning it looked like they were just going to have Rusev versus Jinder Mahal, which would have been just alright at best. I mean, like, it was filler, but still. This was mostly done to help Rusev, who was suffering at the time a legitimate shoulder injury, and not the facial thing that he was wearing the mask for. I think that might have been one, but it was also because of his shoulder injury. So Mahal's back to where he was, so basically nothing's changed. But then, we get WrestleMania 33 in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Okay, yeah, not surprised by that. We get this thing, okay. Jinder Mahal is the runner-up in this Battle Royale, being eliminated by Mojo Rawley of all people, after help from professional football player, was it? Rob Gronkowski. Yeah, he's part of the New England Patriots. So yeah, Rob Gronkowski, I'm pretty sure I pronounced that last name wrong. And then I'm wondering why the hell did that happen? Like, you couldn't give it to Braun Strowman? You really just couldn't give him the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal? Like, for the last several years, they turned the Battle Royal into a joke. Like, it started off good with Cesaro, then they screwed that up. They could have given it to Damien Mizdow as a token to show that he's finally reached this big time moment with this huge storyline they've been doing. No, give it to Big Show. And I was like, okay, is this Big Show's final year? Is he going to end out? Is he going to retire? Nope, he still wrestles. Okay. What about Baron Corbin? Nope, it never goes anywhere. You screwed up all of them. And now I'm supposed to believe that a match that had Braun Strowman, who was dominating, he only had one loss at the time, could not win the Battle Royale again with Mojo Rawley and Mahal involved in it? No. So fast forward to a few weeks later, on April 11th episode of SmackDown Live, it was revealed that Mahal had been drafted to SmackDown in the Superstar Shakeup, who, along with Mojo Rawley, later culminated their feud in one more match later that night, with Gronsky getting involved again to end the feud. So, yeah. Then 7 days later, it begins. On April 18th episode of SmackDown Live, Mahal won a six-pack challenge involving Mojo Rawley, Dolph Ziggler, Eric Rowan, Luke Harper, and Sami Zayn to become #1 contender for the WWE Championship after interference from newly aligned allies Mahal, the Singh brothers, also originally known as the Bollywood Boys. But here's the thing: they're cruiserweights. And yet, all throughout this, I'm wondering, why can't we have the awesome cruiserweight guys, not the guys that got sent back to NXT because corporate thought they just weren't good enough, so they need to go back to NXT because of conditions. Yeah. So, they never got their shot in 205 Live. So, now they are sent to SmackDown for some reason. And sure enough, Jinder Mahal, because he's foreign descent and from Canada, but it's descended from India, we gotta go with the whole hate America storyline because of xenophobia, even though that is a legitimate reason to hate America to an extent. Okay, not to an extent, to a major extent, considering things that have been happening, but that's a different matter. Mahal would confront and attack WWE Champion Randy Orton, taking the title belt, and costing him his match with Bray Wyatt at Raw Brand's exclusive Payback pay-per-view, which was the House of Horrors match. And I must stress, it turned that huge storyline that they were doing with Orton and Wyatt for 8 months, into an afterthought. Yeah, I was not happy with that. So on May 2nd, SmackDown Live Commissioner Shane McMahon forced Mahal to return the belt to Orton. So, yeah. Mahal would then go on to defeat Sami Zayn, AJ frickin' Styles, and pin Randy Orton in a 6-man tag team match to earn his team the victory. Yeah. This happened. So, everyone was wondering, wait, why is Mahal getting this big push? Is it to give the gimmick of the land of opportunity thing that they're really taking overly seriously? Very majorly? So, then there were several reports and an interview with Triple H regarding this. So, I believe it was a conference call. Anyways, the report was that WWE was looking to invest in the Indian market of India, so they thought having Jinder Mahal would be the perfect guy to do it. That's not how this worked. Anyways, and another report said that the reason why they were doing this match as a main event pay-per-view and not just on a pointless afterthought was because WWE has this mentality, except when they don't, is that because they have the network, they feel like they can do different stuff. Which I understand, but at the same time, they don't have enough subscribers, apparently. They keep losing stock because of that. They pledged 1 million subscribers by WrestleMania 30. That didn't work out so well and led to a huge crash in such big ways. Yeah. And then Triple H had said in a conference call, he said this: Jinder is a guy who has always worked extremely hard. He trains hard, he's very intense about what he wants with his career. He's very thoughtful. To Jinder's credit and to Drew McIntyre's credit, they left, they went and figured them for themselves, they improved. They're both men now as opposed to kids trying to make it in the wrestling business. Now, hopefully, they are in a better position to succeed. Well, Jinder Mahal, yes, but wasn't Drew McIntyre, like, I don't know, freaking already ready, except Vince McMahon has a prejudice, even though he's the one that promoted Drew McIntyre, and you just screwed him over big time? Yeah, Jinder Mahal might not be ready, but might be ready to you after so much time. But Drew McIntyre, I thought he already was. Like, you kept promoting him like he was, and then just wrecked it with the 3MB skit. But that's a different matter. Oh, by the way, near the end of the year, we see Jinder Mahal and Drew McIntyre going ahead hanging out, while Drew McIntyre was sadly having to recover due to injury he had, which sucked. After finally completing the journey of becoming the chosen one. So yeah, and his matches he had with Sami Zayn and AJ Styles, okay. Do I have to say this? And I can't believe I have to freaking say it. Well, I'm not going to say Sami Zayn is better than Styles or Styles is better than Sami Zayn. I don't have a preference. They're both awesome. But when people say that Sami Zayn was Jinder Mahal's best match with, as opposed to Styles, yeah, I'm a little concerned on that. And the fact that Styles could only get a decent match, I mean, I must stress, this is Styles we're talking about, you know, the best in the world at what he does right now. Yeah. So, yeah, anyways, after all these tests pushing him to see he can be a legitimate threat, and failing miserably, everyone has on the opinion that, oh, it's Orton, he's going to retain, and he's going to fight Rusev at Money in the Bank, because he's also been drafted to SmackDown, and they've been hinting that, and there was even a report that that was the plan. Mahal would defeat Orton to win the WWE Championship. What? Yeah, he won. Oh, and remember all those people saying that Reigns needed to have a mid-card title before he's ready for a world title? I must stress that he was tag team champion, which means that also counts, but no one said a thing when Jinder Mahal won his first overall championship in WWE. He was never had a mid-card run. He never had a tag team title run. He never had that. His first run as champion, and it's with the world title. The most prestigious title in all of WWE. Yet no one complained about that. They mostly complained about his ability to work a long match. So yeah, where are those people now saying this? I don't hear a single... I never heard a single person say this. They mostly kept bashing Reigns because he didn't have a mid-card title when he won the WWE Championship, except he did, which was a tag team title with Seth Rollins. But because that doesn't count for some reason, it's perfectly alright that Mahal wins the world title without any other titles beforehand. That clearly makes sense, right? The only thing that Mahal got criticized for was the fact that he wasn't doing so well in terms of the ring. So yeah, not only this, he became the 50th unique recognized WWE champion and the first of Indian descent. Yeah. After Mahal has held a Punjabi celebration for his WWE Championship win, also, I must stress, Triple H had revealed that originally they were considering Jinder Mahal to win the NXT Championship against Seth Rollins in the main event tournament of NXT back when it was rebranded. What? You were seriously considering once upon a time Jinder Mahal, who you said yourself was not ready to do this kind of thing, you were going to consider him over Seth freaking Rollins. Wow. Yeah, we never got a reason for that. So, yeah, so after Mahal had his Punjabi celebration, it was announced by Shane McMahon that Orton had invoked his rematch clause for Money in the Bank on June 18th, where with Hall of Famers Bob Orton Jr., his dad, Ric Flair, Sergeant Slaughter at ringside, because that left a lot of people wondering if they were going to do something there, because it did seem weird that all these legends just happen to be there at ringside and might do something, especially you got Sergeant Slaughter, you know, Mr. Pro America. So, yeah. Mahal defeated Orton once again to retain his championship. Yeah. So, nothing's changed on that. No involvement from the Legends. Actually, that's pretty good. And the only highlights out of these two matches is mostly Orton kicking the Singh brothers' asses. And like I said, I was gone for this time. I was on vacation, so I didn't watch Money in the Bank or Battleground or Great Balls of Fire. So, with an irate Orton, who I must stress in the storyline threatened to beat up everyone in Mahal's family, including his mother or grandmother. I don't know if he has a wife, but that's beside the point. He's still considered a face, I must stress. Demanded another rematch. McMahon granted it on condition that Mahal could choose the stipulation, which was sadly to be revealed as a Punjabi prison match, with Mahal referring to the Great Khali as his personal hero, thus ignoring their past animosity. You know, that tension, that pesky continuity. That's evil. So, yeah, I didn't watch the Punjabi prison match because I knew it was going to suck, like more so than the first two. I kept hearing that they kept playing this up like this is such a legendary match that they've only used it twice before. I was like, no, it's a legendary match because it sucked. The concept sounds, quote, awesome, but, yeah, in execution it fails. Like, you hit the freaking Undertaker in what, both matches, and you couldn't even get that? No way. Batista fought the Great Khali. That failed. Undertaker fought Big Show. Okay. So, also, there was also supposed to be more, violence also in the Punjabi prison match. There were, things about it. Okay, so, the Punjabi prison match, here's the thing. When a wrestler is should all four doors end up locked before the wrestler escapes, they are forced to climb out over the top where the bamboo is fashioned into spikes, which was excluded in 2017 in this match due to safety concerns. PG era. And they would also have extended straps at corners of the cage which could be used to choke the opponent, which was no longer available in the 2017 match. PG era. Because we don't want to scare the kids, even though we've had Orton try to attempt murder on the Singh brothers, threatened to beat up Jinder Mahal's entire family. But clearly, we're thinking of the kids. Like, I get the spikes for safety concerns, but the last part, yeah, I still don't get that. So, yeah. So, I didn't watch the match, but the only highlight, once again, was the Singh brothers getting horribly victimized by Orton. That's saying something. So, yeah, then we got an even greater amount of suctitude out of this. Khali returns and helps Mahal win the match. Here's the thing. There was a point in all this that he was supposed to actually sign with WWE and was part of the active roster for a brief time, and it was said that one of the plans into SummerSlam was going to actually be Jinder Mahal and the Great Khali versus Orton and a partner of his choosing. Thank God that didn't happen, because fan outcry called for the head of anyone who thought that was a good idea, which means Road Dogg was the next on the list of fan attacks, despite his attitude era heroism. So, yeah. Jinder Mahal then goes on to celebrate, and John Cena comes out, and here's the thing that really pissed me off about this whole segment. It wasn't even Mahal. It wasn't even Mahal that pissed me off. No. He points out the freaking cliches that Cena likes to say every single time when a heel cheats to win or gets help. And I was like, yes! Someone's calling out Cena for his BS! And then something happened. Cena said he wasn't coming out here to do that. He was actually going to congratulate Mahal. And I'm like, wait, what? You were going to do what? Let's see if I get this straight. Mr. Hustle, Loyalty, and Respect is going to compliment the villain for cheating. Huh. Looks like cheaters do prosper nowadays. So, Cena, you've become a bigger hypocrite. I mean, like, you cheated back then, but you could have made the argument that you were a different person back then in terms of storyline. But no, you decide to be a hypocrite. Even more so, especially when you went Hollywood on everybody. Just wow. Wow, Cena, you just liked it. I talked about this in the podcast. Like, that seriously made me mad. I did not understand why that had to happen. Why you had to try and make Jinder Mahal look like a fool because he pointed out the obvious freaking facts, but Cena apparently wanted to say something different. Like, come on, I'm pretty sure Cena really wanted to say that, but really he needed to try and bury Mahal. So, yeah, anyways. Right now, plans were saying that we were going to get Cena versus Mahal at SummerSlam, and one of the key main events where apparently Cena would win the title, which made me sad because we knew where this was going. And the reason why I have not talked about his promos is because I'm about to get to that soon. Right after SummerSlam soon. Yeah. So this led to a match between Shinsuke Nakamura and John Cena because he's John freaking Cena. A match for the opportunity to fight Jinder Mahal for the title at SummerSlam. Cena would lose that match. Yay! Clean! Double yay! And, yeah. And then, following that, John Cena still got his match with Mahal on SmackDown. So you're going to bury two guys. Like, you're going to fight Baron Corbin. So, yeah, well, let's see how that goes. Mahal lost to Cena by disqualification. Even though that really wasn't much of a lot. Even though that he never would have won either way because he was being dominated. So, yeah, way to showcase the strength of your champion right before a pay-per-view. In one of the, quote, key main events. Way to go. So, Money in the Bank winner Baron Corbin cashed in his contract. Looks like for its good change, not really, but Mahal was able to pin Corbin with a roll-up and retain the title after Corbin attacked Cena. Yeah. So, yeah, So Nakamura and Mahal have their match. They add a lot of foreign diversity into it, like the Japanese commentator speaking on behalf of Nakamura and the Indian commentator speaking on behalf of Mahal. Even though I could not understand a thing they were saying, and this was on the English broadcast, just to clarify. But, yeah. I was liking that they were adding more aesthetics to it in the foreign department, trying to make this match feel a lot more important than actually really should not be considered. Mahal would win that match after interference from the Singh brothers. Yeah. And then following that, we finally get to the promos he conducted at before Hell in a Cell. They sucked. They really, really freaking sucked. Mostly, they were stereotyped. At best, they were stereotyping. At worst, they were racist. And the worst one of them all, where Jinder Mahal says, "You all look the same." And I was like, you did not just say that. Even the fans were like, that's too far. And I must stress, Nakamura, I didn't talk about his pro-India attitude throughout the whole thing because I would be on a broken record with it because it would be on loop because of how he keeps referencing the 1 point whatever billion people of India and yada yada yada. But here's the thing. These start happening more after what happened in Charlottesville, and I was like, that is not the greatest idea. Vince, okay, I'm all for shock value from time to time on this, but you do realize a riot broke out because of race, right? Or at least one of the reasons. You don't need to do this. So I want to call it tasteless that Vince did this, ordering Mahal to take the heat pretty much. And then they did this racist promo about Japanese people. Yeah. Yeah. In fact, it got so bad that WWE never uploaded the footage. It is the second time I've known that WWE never uploaded footage of a horrible idea they did. The first time was in that same year with Alexa Bliss. And the whole This Is Your Life segment, but heel version. Yeah. I must stress around this time that they uploaded Hornswoggle dressed as a crocodile or an alligator versus El Torito. I think I pronounced that wrong, but let's just call him the bull. They get into a match. Everyone hated it, called it stupid. That gets uploaded. That is how low the bar has been given, people. So, yeah. So following this, you would think that after the heat he got, Mahal would lose the title at Hell in a Cell, right? Wrong. Thanks to the involvement of the Singh brothers. And then looking like it was actually going to do something different, but really did not. Nakamura lost, and Mahal once again continued his title reign. Yeah. And then after that, Jinder Mahal goes on to explain that virtually he felt like he had nothing left to prove. And I was like, oh no, they're really doing this. Because then he said while they were in India during a tour, he said that a child spoke to him and asked him what's next for him. And Mahal... Yeah. Speaking of the Indian house tours, right before Clash of Champions, they were supposed to do a 2-night event. That got cut down to 1. And that indicates that this was not working. But Mahal declared his intent to battle the Universal Champion Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series. Why? So anyways, moving on from that. They trade promo attacks on each other for weeks, mostly Paul Heyman defeating him in every single turn. And the only thing they have against Paul Heyman is just to call him a fat walrus. Walrus. I can't pronounce it right. Walrus. Okay, it sounds like I said lawless, but never mind. Thankfully, this match that would have guaranteed disaster and once again only showed the Singh brothers getting the spotlight for getting their cartoony asses handed to them by Lesnar, mostly because people wanted to test out. The only thing people had kept saying, the only thing people were interested in seeing in that match was not even Jinder Mahal versus Lesnar. They wanted to see how far Lesnar could throw the Singh brothers. That's the only reason. And Buzz, I'm pretty sure Vince thought this through. It's part of his evil agenda to get rid of SmackDown, to humiliate SmackDown, because how dare they try to have a writer that actually cares and not suck up and actually supports Triple H and everything they do. What would have been achieved either way? If Mahal beats Lesnar, Lesnar looks like a complete idiot and diminishes and ruins everything Vince wanted to build up for Reigns versus Lesnar at WrestleMania. If Lesnar defeated Mahal, it would ruin what little credibility he had and only made this whole Indian promotion idea to not work out. So, and combine that with fan rejection to this and the increasingly chance they would have sold out, they knew they had to change plans. So at the UK show, Mahal lost the WWE Championship to AJ Styles on November 7th, ending his reign at 170 days. Hallelujah! Hallelujah! And they were hinting that AJ Styles versus Mahal was going to happen, but there was a big problem. AJ Styles kept saying that he had never been beaten by Mahal, except he was like months ago. That's how signs that Ryan Ward was not running the show. They didn't even reference that at all. So yeah. But at least we don't have Mahal versus Lesnar. Instead, we get Styles versus Lesnar. Awesome freaking match. In fact, a lot of people were wondering, is Mahal going to get involved in this match? Nope. Brand loyalty is too injected into people's bloodstreams for some reason, and somehow that programs them not to do that. So, yeah. So then heading into Clash of Champions, Mahal kept calling himself the Beast Tamer or the Beastmaster. Yeah, he kept saying he would have done that. He would have became that if he had beaten Lesnar, if he was the one fighting him. Yeah, not really. Like it's not even a realist. It's not like I would find Curtis Axel finding it more seriously. I could buy Curtis Axel being more serious than Jinder Mahal. Like, yeah, I could not picture anything Mahal was saying about how he could beat Brock Lesnar. No, no way. So, heading into Clash of Champions, Mahal ultimately looked like he was going to sever his ties with the Singh brothers after, basically using them as cannon fodder. The reason why I didn't talk about the Singh brothers is because their whole purpose was to be cannon fodder. And then they finally were given character development, but it turned out to be a huge ruse just so they can try to get Styles like an idiot. But sadly, luckily, that didn't work out because Styles used logic. So Mahal finally gets his rematch for the title against Styles at Clash of Champions, and everyone was worried that this would lead to Mahal regaining the title and then going on, as it was said, to fight John Cena at WrestleMania. And I jokingly said on Twitter to Deluxe Man that think of the possibilities. The racist promos, the anti-American attitude, Cena being a hero for the kids, America, fuck yeah, attitude we can present to the world. The possibilities. I.e., that would be very stupid. Luckily, and fortunately for Mahal, Styles would retain, and Jinder Mahal at least managed to end his push out with a bang with the psychology they put in that match. So yeah, at least we can say that. I can at least say that. However, following Clash of Champions, Mahal would be competing in a tournament to crown a new U.S. champion after it was vacated by Dolph Ziggler. And I'm not talking about Dolph Ziggler's year because there was nothing really of importance until like the end, and even then, I wasn't invested. And he would defeat Ty Dillinger in the first round, Ty Dillinger's first appearance since the Fashion Files, where he dressed up like Eleven and stole a bunch of Lego Myagos. Yeah. So, now that he's scheduled to compete against Xavier Woods in the semifinals, with the winner advancing to the Royal Rumble to compete for the vacated title. So, that pretty much ends Jinder Mahal's 2017. I was freaking surprised that he got pushed so hard on this. Like, they were trying so hard to make him be this top-tier guy. And then he would fight Mojo Rawley one more time on June 6th. Okay, if there is anything that even relates to Jinder and not those who are affiliated with him, if there's one thing, okay, he had a badass entrance when he was going to fight Rawley on June 6th. Yeah, for everything, that was his only achievement. He got a pretty badass entrance with his mask and taking it off, and he looked actually pretty intimidating. Like, why couldn't we get more of that awesomeness? Or why couldn't we get the Jinder Mahal, who was doing a great psychological match with AJ Styles at Clash of Champions? Why couldn't they do that kind of stuff? But they chose not to. They chose to go with the pro-Indian, America is xenophobic, and everyone is a piece of shit mentality. Like, I'm not denying that Americans can be xenophobic, that there are Americans that are xenophobic. I won't deny that. Like, America's not the great, perfect country that history likes to say it was, even though really it's not, and history says otherwise, but people like to revise history to not scar the children for some twisted, methodical reason. So, moving on. So yeah, Jinder Mahal can at least say that he made his legacy as, possibly, according to Wrestling Observer Newsletter, the most hated wrestler of 2017. Number 30 PW Illustrated was listed him as most hated wrestler of 2017, most improved wrestler of 2017, and ranked him at number 30 of the top 500 single wrestlers in 2017 in PWI's 500. Okay, you can at least say that. That counts for something, right? Yeah, so that at least says something. But well, at least we don't have to see Mahal versus Cena at WrestleMania. Let's just be glad about that. I don't want to deal with more America is the awesomest country in the world and everywhere else it's a piece of shit. Besides, I'm pretty sure we already have enough problems with that mentality, especially with who's in office right now and all the controversy he keeps getting for his attitude. So, yeah, and yeah, I'm just surprised that all this happened for Jinder Mahal. And here's the thing, I will give him some credit, despite the fact that, okay, a lot of people were wondering why was he doing so bad in these matches. Turns out he was injured for a while. I think he still is. So your original intention was to him to fight Lesnar, and combine that with WWE's injury fetish issue, mostly Vince's. That would have been a good idea. In fact, why did he not take time off after he lost the title? After he lost the rematch, after he lost at Clash of Champions. I'm like, granted, he did a pretty good match, but still, he should have just left and got surgery afterwards. I'm like, yeah. And, yeah, pretty much, it's just surprising how this went, but now it looks like he could do well in the mid-card division for the U.S. title. Like, I think that might be where he's best suited at, not really the main event. I'll give WWE credit for trying, but there's just some people that can't really hang in the main event scene and some in the mid-card scene. I understand that. But, yeah, like, okay, not even past credentials made me say that he's main event material. Nothing he did in the past before he came back made me think he's main event worthy. Nothing about it. At best, he was mid card. But no, WWE says no, he's main event because he has a lot. India has a lot of people in India, so yeah, that makes sense, right? And his potential started to somewhat fester and come out. But mostly they had to be it took like, what, 2 attempts on with Styles to actually get a good match, and then finally a 3rd attempt to get at least a worthy match that made it look like he was main event worthy. But now he's back to doing not so good matches. So really, some people can make the argument that it was Styles that pretty much made this work, not Jinder Mahal. So, yeah, that pretty much sums up 2017's Jinder Mahal for me. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. Stay tuned for more. And the final video is going to cover the house that AJ Styles built.